Instagram.
Hello.
Okay, we're getting started now. So today, Costume Friday, and our theme is Monster Mash.
Classic monsters.
Yes. So we're gonna do kind of the same things that we were doing the past 2 weeks. We're gonna do a little demo, you can ask us questions, and then we'll bring in a few other girls from the office to show you what they dressed up as.
So, I am a zombie today. If you cannot tell, I got half my face done. We have Pamela.
A mummy.
Our beautiful mummy. So I'm going to start off, I think we're both starting off with blocking our brows.
Yes.
And last week we got a couple questions on brow blocking. So we're actually going to show you 2 different ways on how to do it.
Yes.
So
we're going to be using different products.
Yes.
You want to go first?
Yeah, let me start off because once my brow is blocked, this is always going to be your first step when applying wax. Well, let me start off by saying I'm using our Resident Evil 2 All Pro Zombie Makeup Kit. This is awesome whether you are a beginner or a pro. It has pretty much everything you need in here to create the look. Mine is a little different. I went a little rogue with my zombie, but if you are new, it does come, Pamela was just holding up our step-by-step instructions that has everything you need to know, step-by-step what to use. And it's all in the kit. There are only a couple things not in the kit that I am using today. So I'm using a red pencil.
It's our lip pencil.
In the inner rim just to make myself look a little more undead. I am using alcohol to shear out a few of our colors. And I am going to be using KY jelly to both smooth out the wax onto the skin and also to mix into blood. So I'll show you how to do that later. But to start off, we're gonna start with a brow block. So anytime you're putting wax on top of your brows, you wanna block them first. That way, during removal, it's not gonna pull out any hairs. So I have our spirit gum. I'm gonna take a little bit onto a spoolie brush.
Let's talk about why you need to put spirit gum down first.
Spirit gum first is going to hold and like lock the brows into place. You'll see a lot of people using like glue sticks and such too. This is a lot more heavy duty. So whether you're sweating or it needs to stay on for a really long time, spirit gum is really gonna hold them in place and it's gonna stay. So I'm just kind of going in and brushing, and you want to lay them flat. And also if you have thicker brows, let's say you're not necessarily putting wax over it, but let's say you're doing a drag makeup or something like that and you want your brows to literally disappear. Sometimes like a glue stick isn't really going to hold all your thick brows down. Spirit gum will, because it's a much more heavy duty adhesive. So yeah, just a couple layers. Really combing them on down. And you'll notice they just kind of stick down to the skin. Beautiful. So once they're down and in place, you're going to want to set it with a powder. I'm using the Color Set powder that also comes in the kit. This guy. I'm going to take a little bit onto a powder puff. And the powder puff comes in the kit too. Kind of mush it up. And then just press it on down. If you have really, really thick brows, you could go in before this step and add a little bit of wax, and the wax will kind of like really smooth the brows down. But since we're just going to be putting wax on top of it and building up, we don't really need to do that today. Looking a little crazy right now, but
I think we're both looking a little crazy right now. It's always a process.
Welcome to Mehron. All right. Yeah, and that's pretty much how you block a brow, and then you can go on top. If you're doing more of a beauty look, I would color correct.
You just made that look so easy.
It is easy. Like people think brow blocking is super, super complicated, but it's pretty easy to do. And then really removal is where it's you know, you're gonna spend more time removing it than you will putting it on. Removal is key, and this does come with our Spirit Gum remover. So when you remove the makeup, you want to make sure to be really gentle and to take it off layer by layer. By blocking your brow, when you put the wax on top of it, the wax will come off in one layer, and then your next layer is going to be your brow block, and you just want to soak this with a little cotton round and just hold it for about like 5 to 10 seconds, let it kind of do its thing, and then it will slowly just start to like brush off, and no brows will fall out in the process. All right, so
very important process.
I'm gonna start to warm up my Sin Wax to build up my little like skeleton here. Sin Wax comes in the kit, so that's what I'm using. And it is key with Sin Wax to really, really warm it up before applying it. It starts very hard, but the warmth from your fingers will make it a really nice, soft texture. So as I warm this guy up, do you want to show them how you are blocking your brow today?
So I'm using Extra Flesh. This is a much softer, much softer wax than the Sin Wax. This is super hard, and if you're more advanced at special effects makeup, this is what you'd use. If you're kind of unsure of this, or you have trouble with it, getting it to warm up, and you just want to start out playing with something different, try Extra Flesh first. I'll show you the consistency of this. It's super, super sticky, super tacky. So I took that and kind of rolled it up and then applied it to my brow with the back of the spatula. So once you kind of maneuver that, you can, you know, you get all the hairs to stick down, and then you'll have a nice smooth surface. And then once you have that all on, you're gonna wanna put your Fixative A. And this is gonna seal it and take away the tacky texture. So I already did that on this one. You can see it's not coming off. It's not transferring to my hand or anything. And then what I'm gonna do now is just put a layer of latex, because I kind of want my skin to look a little decayed, like I'm getting, you know, peeling flesh. So I'm gonna use latex as a layer over this.
I'm gonna start to build up my Sin Wax. As you can see, this is kind of how you want it. It's not normally this color. It comes in a like translucent, you can paint on top of it. My hands are covered in blood, so it turned into a little bit of a blood colored wax, but that's okay.
But it looks cool that way.
We're gonna paint on top of it. Actually, I noticed if you don't follow Rolly Gore, she's amazing. She creates the coolest stuff with Sin Wax, and she does tint her Sin Wax ahead of time to be this like blood flesh color. So I didn't do it on purpose, but it will work for sure. Yeah, and that's kind of how you want it. So.
And then you kind of, you know, kill two birds with one stone by getting just it eliminates a step, so you can get it done faster, and it might look more realistic depending on the kind of look you're doing.
Yeah, and if you have a deeper complexion too, you can mix just a little bit of like your shade of cream blend into it. That way it will really just go on. You'll have to do minimal painting on top of it. All right, so going back in with Spirit Gum, and I'm going to paint a little bit in the areas that I want this. So I built it up to kind of like a triangle here. I already have my cheekbone done and my nose as well, which I did on this side, but it's not painted. So right now I'm just gonna be applying this little triangle. So I'm gonna do a little Spirit Gum right there. Right on top of that brow block. And if you go outside where you're going to place the wax, that's fine, because we can powder it down and put Fixative A on top of it, but you definitely want to get a good amount on there so that the Sin Wax will stick. All right. So I'm just going to start to make sure the glue is tacky, activate it. Spirit Gum, you want to put it on and then you want to activate it by just tapping it in, and you'll notice it will start to like pull, and that's when you know you're ready to put your prosthetics on top of it. So I'm just gonna kind of roll it into a little snake shape and place it down. You can always add more, but it's a little bit harder to take away. So I'm gonna start off small.
That's a good tip. I always put like,
For sure.
I always put so much on at
And then
first,
you're, like,
and then
taking so
taking
much
like a
off.
piece off. Then you remove everything that you just did. And you have to start
Yeah.
from scratch.
And a little bit really does end up going a long way. And so even this like small guy here, it's half empty now. That's not just from today's half application. I've already done a full other application with this. So. All right. So now that I have my basic shape, I'm gonna clean off my fingers. And I always keep, again, a little bit of alcohol around because that will help to remove any glues and such from your fingers. You can continue working without getting up. And I'm gonna go in with my palette knife. And I'm gonna put a little bit of KY jelly onto my palette knife. You could use petroleum jelly as well. That will work. That's probably a much more common household item. I like KY jelly because it's water-based, so it doesn't leave any type of a film on top of the wax. It will just kind of disintegrate. And I'm just gonna start to blend down those edges.
I've never tried using KY to blend the edges, but the petroleum jelly does work.
It does.
Helps. I'm sure that is
Absolutely.
much easier, but you guys definitely are going to need something like this to blend the edges down.
Yeah.
It's just, you're going to get a much smoother transition.
For sure. Just kind of smoothing, and you can use your fingers. I like to use my fingers as well. Again, just putting a little jelly on it, smoothing out and shaping it to how you want it. I'm blending it into the other pieces that I already laid down. And then just kind of pressing in the edges.
Is our connection doing okay? Because I feel like things kind of stopped scrolling. Are we doing okay, Ken?
Guys, give us a shout out if you can hear us.
Yeah.
Or if you're there.
We've been ghosted.
Oh no! But we're not ghosts.
Yeah, something
Seems up, yeah.
looks wrong. But we're gonna keep on going.
Keep going and...
Is it back?
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Yeah,
All right,
we're getting
thanks,
some.
guys.
Okay. Making sure that you're still there.
Maybe there's just a little lag.
Don't you hate at your makeup station when you've been working with glitter and then you can't get rid of it and there's just a piece like hanging around? And I'm not trying to use glitter right now, but there's glitter stuck to my face.
Not the time.
I don't know how to get rid of it.
I feel like that's my life. Many days.
You just can't get rid of it. It stays around.
Days.
Oh, you know what I wanted to do? You have white liquid makeup, right?
I do.
Can I borrow a little bit? Thank you. Can you guys hear a creepy Halloween soundtrack in the background?
I'm gonna add a little bit more to my brow. Kind of going up into my cheekbone. Just to give that like sunken eye look.
That's key for a zombie. Really any kind of dead makeup.
Sounds like Buffy. Did anyone watch Buffy growing up? Grr, arg.
Does anyone have questions? This thing is not scrolling again. Ken, are there questions coming in through Amazon?
Nothing yet.
Nothing
They
yet?
hear you though.
All
On
right.
Facebook.
As long as
Right
they
on.
can hear us.
Yeah,
We're here to answer any questions you guys got.
Anything, really.
Need help figuring out what to use for the look that you want to do, or questions on products, on the brand. We are here.
Color matching. You can ask us color matching questions. A lot of people want to know, okay, what color do I use to be like Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas? We have the answers. So if you have the questions, just go ahead and ask.
One of the comments was they can't see you. Get closer together.
Yeah, we're not seeing comments.
We're not seeing anything.
They're not.
It's
coming
frozen.
up.
Not seeing you.
Well-
I just read it.
Okay. We're experimenting.
Well, we've got a question from Facebook.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Will spirit gum take off your eyebrows?
Oh, well, we kind of just went over that, but Katie can
So let me go over that again.
go ahead.
So no, if done properly, it will absolutely not take off your eyebrows. So before putting any wax on, we blocked the brow using spirit gum. So you want to do a layer of spirit gum and comb the brows upward and really push them down flat, and then let it dry, set it with some color set powder, and that kind of creates a barrier on top of whatever you're going to add, whether it's regular makeup or wax or whatever. And then it's all about removal, and safe and proper removal. So the kit that I'm using, the Resident Evil 2 kit, comes with our spirit gum remover, but it is sold separately as well. And that you want to make sure to soak a cotton round and really let it work in to the spirit gum for about like 10 seconds, and just kind of softly in circular motions, and it will just break down the adhesive. And you don't want to be too abrasive. You don't want to start pulling.
Don't
at it.
pull. That's
Do
how
not
you'll
pull.
rip out your eyebrows.
Yeah, so it's all
okay?
about proper removal, but no, it will not. All right.
So what are you doing next?
So next I'm adding a little bit of texture to my wax by using, it comes with these stipple sponges. And I'm going to break mine in half. I like to, you'll notice I tear up all my sponges. It comes with them in a really nice, like,
Why would you tear up your
full
stipple though?
size. Because when you tear it up, it gives a really like nice organic shape. Whereas sometimes if you leave it flat,
And then it lays
you're gonna
flat.
get
Wow.
streaks of like
Okay.
triangles. So yeah, as you tear it up, it just begins being this really like cool organic pattern, and it just looks a little bit more natural.
I've
Same
never
with
done
this
that.
guy.
I've done it with the non-latex sponge, but not the stipple sponge. But that's a great tip, because every time I use this, I get such a flat, square shape
Yeah.
of what I'm trying to make look all bumpy.
Right.
And it's not really working for me. Okay, can you guys see that? Now, versus just a flat edge like this, you're getting something
You're
a little
getting
more...
something a little more like random,
Yeah.
and organic.
Oh my god. Can't believe I didn't know that.
The more you know.
Got another
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
Shoot.
What colors did you use on the palette for the bloody bruised look?
The bloody bruise look?
My
on-
bloody
on
bruise
hers?
look. So we're gonna, on this side, we're gonna get there. In short, to answer your question, in the Resident Evil 2 kit, we have our Pro Coloring Bruise Wheel. It is sold separately again, but it's also part of the kit. And I kind of mixed a bunch of these colors, both for my base, which is kind of this like olive green dead color, and then I stippled on a lot of different colors. With creating a good zombie, it's all about layering colors, which is why this kit's amazing, because you have multiple formulas, multiple colors, so you can really play around and create something cool. So I think I have my brow in the placement that I want it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and seal it. And again, in our kit we have Fixative A.
Fixative A is also what I'm using to block my brow with the extra flesh and liquid latex. Although you're gonna use the Fixative A before the latex. And then once your latex is down and dry, you powder it down with color set powder, which is what I'm doing now. So it's just 2 different ways that you can block your brows.
So I'm just going in and adding Fixative A onto the top of the wax and on the edges. And this will seal it in. That way whatever color goes on top of it, the color is not like soaking up or like sitting on top of the wax. It just kind of adheres really nicely and stays put.
And that's what you want.
So I'm going into coloring. I'm gonna let that dry for a second while I show you I have my palette here that I've been mixing with to create this. This is like my base shade that I have all under this. So I'm gonna add this on top to color this and around my eye. But I mixed a few different products in the kit. We have 2 color cups. These are grease paint formulas. I started with a little bit of the white from the color cup and then added in some of the mustard, the olive, and then a little bit of the dark red as well, and mixed them all together just to kind of get this gross looking grayish green color. And I'm going to use our smoothie sponge
I don't know why.
to apply it.
I don't know why the comments are still frozen. I'm sure that people are asking
Anything wrong
questions
with
and we can't.
Are they showing up on that one?
I'm seeing, but this one's delayed.
Oh, well, if you have questions that we're not getting, because the last question that we had was a minute ago, DM us or email us at info@mehron.com. Alright, so I'm stippling my color on top. If you want to thin it out, I did thin this out just a little bit by adding just a drop of alcohol into it. So definitely be careful around the eyes, always test it and make sure it's not too heavily alcoholed before applying it. But that will make it go on really nice and smooth. And then to get closer around the eyes, I'm gonna mix in a little bit more of our black color cup into this like mustard. I think I want a little bit more red in there too, so I'm gonna grab this dark red shade from the bruise wheel. The bruise wheel is awesome too because, I mean, I'm not creating any bruises here. It can be used for so many different things because you really do get a lot of colors in there. But if you are creating bruises, it's great because it goes through every stage of a bruise, if you didn't know that. So the darkest is going to be at impact, and that would be the dark blue. And then as it starts to heal, you go around and your bruise will turn more like a yellow and a green over time. So all stages. What are you working on over here?
So I just finished the brow with my extra flesh and liquid latex that I put down over it. So I used color set powder to kind of take away the tacky texture, and now I'm gonna just start painting. You can see I was kind of making these little indents and grooves and stuff. I'm gonna just start doing that with my cream makeup into that section.
And I duplicated my shade over here to make this kind of gray red. I'm just putting that around the eye. We're gonna add a lot of layers, so if it's messy, that's fine.
If you guys didn't know already, stage line brushes are perfect for special effects.
So I'm taking the same shade that I just created for around my eye, but I'm using my like torn up little stipple sponge instead. Just kind of beginning to put it all around and create shadows and add a little bit of that gross bloody look.
It definitely looks gross and bloody.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
We're not cute this week.
No, not at all.
We did cute last week.
Yeah, we're tired of cute. I really am sick of like way too sexy Halloween costumes. Can anyone agree with me? Like, shouldn't we bring the horror and the spooky factor back?
I like the horror and the spooky factor, but I also say like, do your thing. If that's what
have
Halloween
fun.
is to you,
But still,
do
it's
it
just-
up.
It's so much more
But I agree.
interesting when you see someone who's like disgusting and not
like-
afraid to be disgusting. They're just like,
Yeah.
wow, that person looks really bizarre in that creepy makeup. They didn't go for the sexy look at all. And it's like, go for it.
And I'm going in with the smaller brush that comes in this set. Comes with 3 different brushes in our RE2 kit. We have our chip brush, which I'll
Brush
show
will
you
save your life.
how to use in a minute. And then a nice detail brush and a flat brush. I'm using the smaller detail one just to kind of add some messy, random strokes.
Get in there, toots.
So let's. And with my nose, I built it up. So my wax is like all up around my nose as well. And I think you did something similar.
Yeah, we both did the
to
same
kind
thing.
of cheat that like
To make it look like your flesh is being torn
up.
or decaying. In my case, it's decaying away. But so what I did is put a layer of latex down, and then I used a little cotton round. Do I have any up here? No. I just used a little cotton round and kind of pulled it apart and rolled it up, put it down on top of the latex, and then stippled more latex on top of that. Once the latex is dry, color set powder, and then you can paint on it. So I just started tearing holes to make it look like my flesh is starting to go.
And I'm making sure to get into my hairline as well. You'll notice my hair looks a little crunchy and cute right now. I added in conditioner and gel, and that just kind of gives you a really gross,
Greasy.
greasy.
You haven't washed your hair in like
I
2
haven't
months.
showered since I was alive type of a look. Alright, let's add a little bit. I'm gonna go into the darker blue in my bruise wheel. And just again randomly placing down some texture.
All about the texture.
Texture and highlighting and contouring is everything. So you'll notice I'm not really hitting a lot of these dark paints on the brow bone up here, or on the bridge of the nose, or on the cheeks, because that we really want to come forward. And then with my darker shade, I'm going in more so right to the sides of it, around the eyes where we want to be really sunken, and under the cheekbones. In fact, I'm gonna grab a stipple sponge to stipple it on over here.
Gotta love the stipple sponge.
It is a lifesaver for sure. Get that cute contour going. And don't forget your ears. I said that last week, but it is key.
Yeah, people forget that. Don't forget that.
It's a common mistake, but it just completes the look with your ears done.
Oh, someone asked where we're located. We're in New York,
New York.
right outside the city.
Where are you guys from? Okay. It's looking good over here. I'm going to start to splatter on texture. So this is where my alcohol is going to come into play to thin out some colors. So I have my like empty mixing cup here, and I'm just going to add a little drop of it. And what colors do I want? I'm going to do a little dark red, a little blue, and a little green.
And you're gonna splatter that?
I'm gonna mix them together to create this kind of gross gray green shade, and I'm gonna put it onto my chip brush and splatter it on. So you want to be careful, especially if you are using, I use like a little bit of alcohol to thin this out. Keep your eyes closed as you're splattering it, or have a friend help you out.
So I made that mistake once.
So that you don't get alcohol in your eyes. If you're afraid of that, use our liquid makeup. So in the kit, you do get liquid makeup in white and black. So you could absolutely splatter with that as well. This does not have that high alcohol content in it, so it will not burn. So basically what you do to demonstrate is you kind of just put your thumb on the bottom and start to splatter. And it just creates this really cool
She got me.
texture. Sorry, that might happen.
It might happen, but it kind of works for my look too, so I don't really care.
Good. And just gonna add lots of texture onto the neck. I already painted my neck, but bit more. Not bad. Now I want to add a little bit of red. So I'm going to go in with my bright red shade in here.
Somebody asked, what do you use for a base before you put on your special effects makeup? A base as in like to protect your skin or to put down certain products? I guess we'll just answer both. So if you want to protect your skin, you can start with our Skin Prep Pro. That's kind of like an astringent. You would put it on with a cotton ball on your bare skin after you wash it, and then let it dry and put your makeup on. So that just kind of acts as a primer. It'll protect your skin from the makeup. And then you could also use our barrier spray. That's a more mild version. And it also doubles as a setting spray afterwards. Or if you're asking because you want to know what will get certain special effects products to stick to your skin, spirit gum. If you're using something like our Sin Wax, spirit gum works great. It's an adhesive. You let it get a little bit tacky before you put your products on, and then you'll have them adhere to the skin better. Latex also works to put down certain things. For instance, I put these gauzies on my arms for my mummy costume, and I just kind of tied them loosely and they keep slipping. So I put down a layer of liquid latex just for it to stick to my arm. So now I can, move my arm up and down. It's not gonna shift or fall off me. So those are two good adhesives. Adgem is another one. Adgem is used as an eyelash glue. It's really, really strong though, so you want to make sure that what you're using that on is, proceed with caution. But I would say those 3. Am I missing anything?
No,
I think
that's pretty good.
That's what you'd use.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't answer your question, just email
Let
us.
us know. So I'm contouring my nose right now to get it nice and thin using the black color cup. And just kind of adding a little bit of darkness on the sides.
Trying to. Oh, someone said awesome contour.
Contour on board.
Contour for the dead.
Yeah, using the stipple sponge to deepen it a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start with some blood.
Someone's asking, are we from the Chestnut Ridge location? Yes, we are in Chestnut Ridge, New York, right now. Someone asked, do you think I can make a skull neon makeup with the Paradise palette? Yes, you absolutely can use the Paradise palette to make a neon skull. If you want to kind of bump it up a little bit, our Intense Fire palette has a lot of neon pressed pigments that you can use as like a shadow on top. So Paradise doesn't come in neon colors yet, but if you want to kind of start with your Paradise and then make it brighter, I would go over it with Intense from the Fire palette.
If you're going for like a cute kind of neon skull too, Gypsy Shrine is good for that because it comes
Gypsy
with
jewels.
Comes with gems.
Mm-hmm. And they just apply in a little sticky pattern. You just peel them from the paper, you put them on. Some are on your forehead, some are underneath your eyes. They have ones for your whole body. Those are great to kind of bump up the sugar skull look.
Okay, I'm gonna start with blood now.
What kind?
Another question.
Yes.
Question is, how did you do the wax under both eyes?
How did I do the wax under both eyes? The same way that I did it on the top. So you want to, on clean skin, put down a layer of spirit gum and activate it to make it really nice and tacky. And then I used our Sin Wax, which is a really nice pliable wax. It starts off looking like this and it's a little more hard. And then you just kind of got to mush it up in your fingers, and the warmth of your hands will turn it into this really nice, like easy to blend kind of texture. And I just start to place it down in kind of worm-like shapes. So for under my eyes, I just kind of created something like this and put it right here. And then I go in with a palette knife and a little bit of something to smooth it out. So you could use either like a petroleum jelly or a KY, and then just begin to smooth down the edges. And then once the edges are smooth, a little Fix It Away on top. You can put whatever colors you want on it.
Oh, someone asked what color is the wax. So the wax only comes in one color. Yes. This is how it's going to come, But
yes, so it can be colored to any color you want. This one has no coloring to it. This is just the color that the wax is. For some people, it will show up totally like translucent if you're very like fair. If you're deeper, you could add a little bit of a foundation or a cream into it to make it easier to blend into the skin. Or in my case, I actually didn't mean to, but it worked out pretty well. I was working with blood on my hands and I just started to knead the wax and it turned into like a blood color. So yeah, it comes clear, but you could make it any color you'd like.
So what are you working on now?
I'm gonna start with blood.
Okay.
And I am all about layering blood and playing around with different bloods. in this kit you get 2 different formulas. We have our coagulated, which is a very
sticky.
sticky blood, and then stage blood, which is much thinner, drippy, has more of like that fresh blood consistency. So I'm going to start with the thinner consistency and work my way up. No, I lied. I'm going to go the other way around. I'm going to start with the thicker one. Switching it up. So I'm going to take a little bit of this onto the back of my hand. And I'm going to use a Q-tip to start to apply it.
There's another question.
Yes.
Can you use Prozade instead of spirit gum?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Prozade is a medical grade adhesive, so make sure you have good removers for that. So just be safe. But yes, absolutely.
And Mehron has its own medical grade adhesive, our AdMed, and it comes with its own remover, so you could use that as well.
So I have my coagulated blood on the back of my hand, and I'm just rolling a little bit onto a Q-tip and anywhere that I want it. So I want it all up in this like nose divot for my wax. So I'm rolling it in and then just kind of like tapping it out, tapping it onto the wax so that there's a little bit of blood everywhere. When in doubt, add more blood.
Can hide all your imperfections. So.
For real. Yeah, in fact, there's an edge that I've been dealing with over here that you can see that just didn't want to go down, so I will be adding a little bit of blood to that. Cover it on up.
Someone asked if modeling wax is the same as sin wax. No, they're different. I haven't used modeling wax as much as I've used sin wax. I know that modeling wax is clear, completely clear, because this is a little like tinted.
Modeling wax is a little bit harder too.
Yes.
So it's good if you're wanting to create, you could use sin wax as well, but it's good if you're wanting to create like a horn or something like that.
Yeah,
that really
and they're similar in consistency and stuff, but sin wax will work better on areas of the body that move, so like joints, or like your jaw, your mouth, your brows, like anywhere where your skin is moving, this will move with the skin. Whereas modeling wax, like she said, if you're gonna put like a horn and you gotta blend your prosthetic edges, you could use something like that, where it's like this part of your forehead isn't as expressive as like your brow, or, you know, putting it around the mouth or something. So that's one of the differences as well. So I'm gonna try to do, thank you, Ken. I'm gonna try to do like kind of a torn mouth, and then hopefully get this spider in there to look like he's crawling out of my dead skin. So I'm gonna use the extra flesh because that's what I used on my brows. And you can see it's really, really sticky. Actually that's probably too much. But I'm gonna, this you don't need anything to put down first. Like Katie had to put down spirit gum to put her sin wax on. This will just go right on the skin because it's so sticky. Can you see me?
Come on in.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'll move aside. I'm gonna start to go in with stage blood, the thinner consistency, and I'm gonna do 2 layers of it. One on its own, and then one I'm gonna mix a little bit of KY jelly with it to make it ooey and gooey. Alright, so I'm going in with the flat top brush.
You're gonna want baby wipes or makeup remover cloths when you're using the extra flesh, because it's a little messy, very sticky.
Another question.
Go for it.
How long does the dead zombie look
This I've been working on for, when did we start? Like an hour? Hour and a half, 2 hours? About 2 hours. And I'm going to add a little bit of this thinner one too into the nose. We did the coagulated blood first, which is the thicker.
Someone's asking what we're applying, but I'm not sure.
I'm applying stage blood right now.
And I'm applying extra flesh.
And stage blood is mouth safe. It's edible technically.
It's vegan.
Doesn't taste good. I wouldn't recommend eating it. But
I actually like the way it tastes. It kind of tastes like
you weird.
corn syrup.
Okay, yeah, I'll give that to you.
It's just sugary.
Yeah. It doesn't taste bad, but I wouldn't eat it. But
Someone asked
it is
what
definitely
blood is longer lasting. It depends on the look you're doing, really. They'll all last.
It's all about layering too. So like my first layer of blood wasn't even a blood. I did some red splatter with the creams, and that will stay. I'm going to spray everything with barrier spray to make it really last. But then coagulated blood is really thick, so that will really stay in place too. But they're all pretty long wear. All right, so now I'm going to go in with my stage blood and mix just a little bit of this KY jelly into it, and it's going to create this nice, bright, oopy, gooey, very like shiny, reflective blood. And I'm going to start to layer that on top.
Someone's saying that you really look dead.
Thank you.
You really do.
Thank you. That's what I was going for. I love doing zombies. Like,
Who doesn't? Does anyone actually not like doing zombie makeup?
zombies are definitely one of my favorites. Because it's almost like the messier, the better. Like if you're a beginner and you're like, what is the first thing that I should start like working with?
That's a good point.
Do a zombie.
Because it's easy. You're allowed to mess up. In fact, the more you mess up, the better it'll probably look.
The better, right.
Okay. Can you guys see this all right? The Mummy. Okay, so someone just asked what I'm using on my mouth. I'm using extra flesh. Comes in this little container right here.
And all of these products, by the way, I also used to make my ripped up shirt. So it's a nice.
Yes,
all I need is
a
like
lot of our
cheap
products
little
will work great on clothing.
costume and.
So actually, squirt blood works great if you want to spray this onto clothing or a costume. And what I used to dirty up my spiel here, whatever I got on, it's just like cheesecloth and gauze. I used charred ash on a big powder brush and just literally dusted this all over the costume. And then I also dusted it onto my skin just to make it look like I'm dirty.
Just adding a little bit of blood to my like hairline.
Yeah, get it in there.
Basically, just the more blood, the better.
Always. It's my motto in life. So I put down my extra flesh. Now I want my fixative A because this is going to seal this and then allow me to paint it. Okay.
All right. How you doing on yours?
Getting there?
Yeah, you can see my stage blood is starting to goop into
Yeah,
my mouth.
But that's
okay.
key.
It looks good. We do
Someone
have
asked what
a-
I used to seal it. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Fixative A. That's what I used to just seal that.
For a all-night effect, we have our tooth effects, which you can paint on. We have one in blood. That's great too, to just totally make the teeth red, or like a nicotine.
Yeah, we had the
would be good,
nicotine
too.
one, which will give you the yellow, brown, gross, smoker's teeth kind of look. And then there's also black. So I'm going to go over this with some liquid latex. Thank you, Ken.
Should we grab the other
Yeah, why don't we
gals,
grab
too?
some of our other girls out front so you guys can see some of the awesome costumes that they came in with. Get that out of there. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry and then I'm gonna use some color set powder before I paint it to look like it was torn and put my little spider in there. Do we have visitors?
You
Yes,
have
we
visitors.
do.
We have visitors! Who do we have?
Look at this beautiful couple coming in.
Let's get out of the way.
Okay.
Sneak in here.
Come on in. Get right in the middle.
Okay, so I guess you guys can pretty much tell who we have here. We're looking at that. Let's quickly talk about what you guys use. Just give us a quick rundown.
I literally just have All Paradise.
It's pretty dope because
That is
it
awesome.
looks like you used
looks-
a bunch of different products.
No.
Right.
I use the white celebrity foundation, which is a part of our beauty line, but works great for things like this.
You look pretty gross.
And then
I just want you guys to see the blood that she's got pouring down her face. I just think that
So,
that's
yeah.
my favorite part.
Which one is this?
this is the coagulated blood painted
Yeah,
on.
so you'll
with
see
the
someone was just asking
brush.
like how long it will stay. This was applied this morning. You can see it just totally like dries down, doesn't move.
Yeah.
You guys
And
look
I
pretty.
also used our intense colors for highlight and contour.
Yeah, intense work great for that. You guys look awesome.
You do. You look so good. Ah! Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Oh. Never a dull Friday.
No, never.
I love it. All right. Any last questions we got before we finish up here? Anything else you want to know? We will be back next Friday.
We'll be back next
Again.
Friday with a whole new theme.
Whole new theme. If you guys have suggestions for themes, what do you want to see? DM us. We want to know. We will definitely create whatever you would like. But if not,
If not, then we're just gonna make up our own theme. So too bad for you. I'm just going in with some of the bruise wheel, 2 colors to make this look like fresh wounds, decaying wounds.
I'm done here. I'm just waiting on Pamela, and this is where I get to the extra point where I'm just like, more blood? More blood? Putting the blood on with a stipple sponge too is really cool. So I have a little bit of jelly and stage blood. I'm gonna mix it together with a stipple sponge. I'm just gonna start to bloody myself up even more.
You can never really have too much.
I feel like I lost my highlight over here. Yeah, that back in. There we go. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
What can you do with your eyes?
Contacts.
Contacts?
Yep.
There's some
Contacts,
contacts in
there's
there,
some-
and get your whole zombie look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna use my stipply sponge. What I've been doing actually is using some intense colors, just to kind of grungy up my skin here. So, see, I tore this piece of latex because it was a little too long. When you get an edge like that and you're like, oh, it's too late, I don't really know how to fix it, just hide it with blood. In fact, I'm gonna use my little spider guy and I'm just gonna glue him on. I think I'm gonna use Adgem for this. It's a little stronger of an adhesive than liquid latex, so I'm going to just put glue right on the back of him, like that. And we're gonna just stick him right on there. So we can actually use some coagulated blood. I steal some of my zombie's blood here.
Take it.
Sorry, zombie.
Take it.
Okay, so it's the scabbing blood. That's pieces of cotton that are stuck in his legs, but you know what? I kind of don't mind it. It makes it a little more gross. I don't really care. I'm just gonna go with it.
When in doubt, cover it with blood.
So now it's like you use something fun to kind of cover something you didn't really want seen. Keep saying we have a bad connection. Do we know what that is? Ken?
No.
I don't know why. Let's see. Look what it did.
Oh, ended.
It ended?
I think so.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what happened last time
But
too.
that's definitely what happened. Let's see. Yeah, look. Weird. Oh well. We're still on our other channels, right?
Yep.
We can We can say goodbye. I think we're gonna kind of just put on our little finishing touches, like
We'll
our barrier
finesse.
spray,
Oh yeah.
and seal everything up because we don't want anything to move. So if you guys have more questions, again, email us info@mehron.com. If you don't have questions, cool. Thanks for watching. We're definitely going to be back next Friday. We'll do a different theme. We'll do different looks. Send in questions. Come watch us and have fun.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.